We love millennials on this show. We've had the pleasure of giving millennials shout outs, and then we've had the pleasure of maybe hating on millennials a little bit. But the real estate market is really being fueled by millennials right now. We've talked on the show about property features that attract millennials and that can help your home sell for more and for faster, because features that millennials want. But right now, older millennials are believed to be helping drive prices up, for real estate, and it's a great thing, because the reality is that for a while, millennials were kind of sitting on the sidelines, right, Robert? They're just out there. They were like, we're checked out.
Yeah, and I would say that most of the things people say they hate about millennials are really the younger millennials, because now they call us older millennials exennials, and I think that's what the article.
The exennials are okay.
Yeah, well, it's really, because I'm 35, and I think that I am totally different than somebody who's 25. I mean, it's like a complete, you grew up completely differently, you do things completely differently. And what the article was stating is that the older millennials are really changing the real estate market, because they're so into the real estate market right now. They're really jumping in, and they waited to buy their first home, or now they're buying their second home, or they waited so long and saved up so much money that they're jumping in and buying a more expensive home. So all these people are kind of jumping into the real estate market at the same time, and it's really caused prices to jump when we had see them kind of stabilize over the past little bit, and maybe inventory on a national level has started to trickle back down again, even though, again, we had kind of seen it stabilize and start to go up.
Yeah, so I think that the older millennials are definitely driving it, because they're the ones getting married, having kids. They're the ones that have paid off the student loan debt. They've started to make some money. All those types of things are helping drive it. But certainly, I think builders and the real estate industry are starting to accommodate the features that millennials want. They're starting to do things that attract the millennial, with features of the homes, construction styles, upgrades, and those types of things. So I think there's a lot of things contributing to millennials jumping back in, and it's definitely a driving force in the marketplace, no question.
Do you see a lot of millennials? I mean, I know that we all see a lot of them in the market, but I mean, are you seeing a lot of the younger demographic in the mortgage area? Or I know we were talking last week about a lot of refinances. I would assume what you're seeing with millennials is a lot of buyers, not necessarily refinances.
Yeah, I think the article was on point. I mean, they are the older segment of the millennials. First of all, they're our largest generation now, demographically out there. So it makes sense that the industry is starting to tailor to them. They should, because there's more of them than anybody else. But they're getting married, they're having kids, they want to buy houses. There was always that stigma that they were stuck in mom and dad's basement, right? And they just wanted experiences, they didn't want stuff, and all these different things. Well, now guess what? They're a little bit older, and they did wait longer than historically what's happened, but now they got married, and now they're having their first kid, and guess what? Living maybe in urban downtown doesn't make as much sense anymore. They want a yard for the kid to play in the sandbox. They want to move out to the suburbs, and
they want a puppy.
To see it.
They want a puppy.
And I think that's what's so interesting, is not only are these articles kind of come out and say that everything that we thought was wrong, but they make up over 60% of the buying population right now, and statistically, they're the ones that are moving out to the suburbs, which is what's so opposite of what we've been told.
Well, and
for
it's
years.
I think it is the older millennials, because another article I read, just kind of on the same topic, kind of gave a converse opinion about, why is it that millennials haven't bought as quickly, or what is it that holds millennials back, and that things were, millennials as a generationally wait longer to get married, so let's face it. When you're single, you can kind of tolerate the apartment lifestyle. When you're married, it changes a little bit, and maybe you want your own place, because then there's the thought of having kids and puppies and all those things come in. And then student loan debt. Student loan debt's a bigger problem for millennials than it's been for any other generation. And so, that obviously holds people back, because their debt to income, or not having the down payment money. But so those were factors. But I think the older millennials have kind of gotten established in their career. They've met a significant other. They've started that process of maybe what some people think of as more family adulthood, that in prior generations started at an earlier age.
I think
so it's kids, you know, having kids later, getting married later, all those types of things.
Another thing that a lot of people just don't talk about or don't mention too with the millennials is, you gotta remember during the financial crisis, what happened, they were younger, right? They were just getting into that, and they watched their parents buy their dream home or work their whole life
Go
to get
through
a home
foreclosure.
and then lose it.
Right.
And all
Or
the
not
pain
necessarily
that went through it.
all of them, because there were plenty of people that didn't,
Of
but
course.
they knew someone that went through it. Like,
Right, and
their friend or their boyfriend or the whatever had a parent that went through the financial struggle.
And they were fearful of that, so it took them a little bit longer to get out of that, and again, you know, all the other reasons we mentioned now, they're a big part of the market.
Yeah, baby boomers, the whole philosophy is buy home as quick as you could. I mean, you were just, I mean, as soon as you could possibly buy a home, you went and bought a home, and that's just not the train of thought.
Well, and going back to opposites and what you think is not typical compared to what we've always been told, the number one feature they're wanting in homes is a formal dining room.
I know, which is just odd, because everyone says,
That is
oh,
odd.
you
Well,
want this
you know-
whole open.
You know what it is? It's that, and because I read the article on this, they think it's because cooking at home is so in. They invite people
Yeah,
over
that makes sense.
to hang out at home. You know, you hear that going out is less of a thing. So I think it's that people are inviting others over to hang out at their house,
Yeah.
and then they want a place to have dinner. So it's really interesting how, you know, I mean, my gosh, since I've gotten to real estate 10 years ago, back even 5 years ago, we were talking about, oh, nobody wants a dining room anymore. And
Right.
now it's the number one wanted feature in a house. So it's
Right.
really strange.
It is. It all cycles like that. I mean, it's like bell bottoms. They come back. You know,
Dining rooms are the new bell bottoms.
You know, eventually, the thing. When we were kids, you had those bracelets that you slapped on your
Yeah,
wrist.
slap
Those are
bracelets.
going to come back
Yeah.
again.
No, they came back.
Oh, did they? I missed.